You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
Hello and welcome to the Betoota Weekly News Bulletin. It is Friday, the 2nd of December. Summer is officially here. Fair to say the pollen season probably has gone, or the worst of it has gone for now, for those not too badly affected by it. My name is Wendell Hussey. You'll notice it's not Clancy Overall coming to you first up on the Weekly Bulletin. Clancy and Errol are at some media awards function in town. It's myself and Effie Bateman here in the studio. Effie, how are you?
I'm doing really well, Wendell. How are you?
Yeah, good. You certainly look like you were doing better than the advertisers, the Betoota advertisers Christmas party we had last night. You've bounced back, you've recovered, and you're into it.
I'm piss fit, Wendell.
Well, at this time of year, and look, you probably...
Actually, I'm still drunk, if I'm being honest.
You're piss fitter than you should have been. I think that's just a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
You're piss fitter than you should be for this time of the year, really. Like, normally you don't hit the piss fitness, I would say, until that back end of December, around the 18th, 19th. But yeah, it's been an interesting, silly season starting off up here. So anyway, look, we'll get into the news wrap. And our first story of the Weekly News Bulletin is about our former Prime Minister. And inspired by Jordan Peterson, Scott Morrison has released his own 12 rules for life.
Yes, some exciting news from the member for Cook. He was in the news this week facing a censure motion for his psychopathic attempts to grab all the power within cabinet. However, he's bounced back and quietened down the noise by releasing his very first book. Yeah,
it's certainly a good way to get on top of the media cycle. Of course, there were reports released saying that basically Scott Morrison was acting in a psychopathic manner and blatantly grabbing at power without any justification whatsoever. So he wrote this book. It's the first one that he has written himself. People have written books about him in the past, but this is his very first one. And it's actually modelled on the popular alt-right clickbait merchant Jordan Peterson and his own 12 rules for life. But Scotty's given it his own trademark twist. This comes after they met at Parliament House there, and then Scott Morrison had front row tickets to Jordan Peterson's show here. He's a Canadian psychologist, if you're not familiar with him, who always seems to be in viral videos on the internet that your alt-right cousin likes to share. Now, some of the rules in Scott Morrison's new book are like this, because I'm saving people the time and money to go and buy it. They stand up straight with a smug look on your face, treat yourself like a non-boat person, and make friends with people who have the same religion as you, and then make them take the fall when you get exposed for bizarre abuses of power. Interesting stuff from Scott Morrison there. We'll see how it goes and whether it sells. Probably better than Bulldozer. Now, what's our next story?
Well, this sounds like we're talking about Scott Morrison, but we're not. And the next headline reads, "Nobody is reading this shit anymore."
Yes, and this shit being the Herald Sun. The image that accompanied this article was a collation of all the Herald Sun front pages talking about Dan Andrews, Dictator Dan, Toxic Dan, all that sort of stuff. And this story was written off the back of a 2018 landslide election win for the Victorian Labor Party, 3 years of bushfires, pandemic lockdowns, and relentless criticism, with Dan Andrews basically proving that print media is now dead. That's what he's done.
That's right. Despite almost 3 years of sycophantic coalition cheerleading on radio, TV and broadsheet coverage was for absolutely nothing. And the political usefulness of Peter Credlin and Andrew Bolt has run out completely. Another huge win for the Labor Party in Victoria has proven that nobody is reading the outright propaganda that is the Herald Sun.
Shocking stuff. It seems like people might be thinking for themselves and not just regurgitating what the Herald Sun writes. Obviously a damning blow for them, but they'll keep churning it out as long as Rupert Murdoch keeps on funding it. Now, we've got a local story.
Yes, for our local story, a headline reads, "Nobody cares about your Spotify Wrapped," says woman whose entire social media footprint consists solely of baby photos and wedding throwbacks.
Yeah, local Instagram addict Hannah Thomas has cracked the shits this week. Barely 9 minutes into her morning Insta scroll on Thursday, the 1st of December, Hannah revealed to The Advocate that she's had enough of reading the interesting stats about what music her friends and family listen to. Now, if you aren't familiar, Spotify Wrapped is basically the coolest violation of user data of any major platform, really, streaming platform, by providing users with their own personalised year in review.
Yes, while some people might find it interesting to see who is listening to what, Hannah says it's so generic and boring, unlike the constant baby spam and wedding throwbacks that she treats all of her friends to. I actually, not unfollow, but I hide all the baby posts that I get on my Instagram.
Fair enough, Effie. That makes sense. You get enough of it from your mum and your older sister.
Yeah, the family group chat. I just can't deal with it.
Fair enough. Well, look, there's someone who I guess was going into bat for Hannah in the comments. Her name was Sophie Kate. She's a local woman who comments a lot on our stories. She said, I have seen so many of these posts. If you don't want to see my Spotify thing, don't follow my Instagram. I don't exist for others to approve of what I feel like posting. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, snaps for Soph.
Yeah.
Good on you,
Good on you, Sophie. Now, some sports news. And Australia had a historic win at the World Cup this week, and that resulted in Les Murray beaming down with pride from the SBS World Cup couch in the sky.
Yes, for anyone who's been living under a rock, Thursday was a historic day for the nation. The Socceroos managed to beat the 10th-ranked Danish football team and secured a spot in the next round of the World Cup. And while there was plenty of celebration around the country and the world, it was an image in the sky that would last a lifetime. Yeah,
that's right. Les Murray, also known by his birth name Laszlo Urga, the godfather of Australian football, was spotted smiling down upon the nation from upstairs, reportedly incredibly proud of what the ragtag bunch of Socceroos had achieved. If you're not a football fan, Les covered it for decades and decades and decades and played a huge role in the sport becoming popular within Australia. And as much as the Socceroos is an achievement of their own, it's also a testament to Les Murray and the work that he did. So it was lovely to see him smiling down from the heavens. If you want to see the image, head to our website. It's quite a good image there. Now, we did have a comment on that. I'm actually not really sure what the point of it was, but it got a lot of likes, so I just thought I'd read it out. It was from Zoltan Katetsky. He said, I was in Bonagilla migrant refugee camp in Victoria with Les. He was older than me and used to push me over all the time! ! P.S. Not many people know, but he was a great rock and roll singer before SBS. Not many people do know that. It was quite a rock dog.
What a colourful history.
Les Murray, he did it all. He said it all.
Bit of a renaissance man.
Yeah, he was a great man and remembered very, very fondly. But that's all we got time for this week. If you've made it through to the end, you might enjoy our content. Our book, The Australian Dream, Sell Everything and Move to Betoota, is out this week. So go and grab a copy of it just in time for Christmas.
All right. See you later.
See you later.